is an area in the stitch menu with a heart, menu U, as in you. When you go here, it will be empty because these are areas where you can save stitches in the settings that you use them at and keep them right where you need them. So let's do something here. One of the things that I like is when I do a blanket stitch. So I'm going to go to my F menu and do my stitch number 15. So this stitch I'm always making a little bit longer. I like it 3.0 long and 3.0 wide. I also like to move the needle position to the far right side. So if I touch Alt, I can move that needle position all the way over. This is how I always sew this stitch, so I can use the inside of my toe as a guide. It works for me. So if I want to save that stitch, I can put it into my stitches. Touch the heart. I can touch an empty space, so I'm going to go ahead and put it in stitch number 1, and it will save that stitch in those settings for me, and then touch OK. So then another stitch, we'll just take, for example, we'll just do a random stitch. Let's say I love a stitch out of the G menu, and I love the butterfly. So I just want to have this butterfly. I was sewing out my decorative stitches and I really know that's a stitch I want to come back to, but I don't want to have to remember that it's in the G menu, in the children's stitches. So I can just save a copy of it. I don't even have to change the options. I'm going to just go ahead and save it into my stitch 2 slot. Let's do a few other stitches. Other stitches that I like. I love the big omni stitches. They're the big ones, and we'll just take a random stitch, for example the flower 16. Look how big it is. It's one of the larger ones, and I'll save that also into my stitches. Okay, so I've got 3 stitches that I'm going to be using. Let's say I have a project that I will be going between all 3 of these stitches. So I've just lined them up on one menu. So let's go ahead and let's come back out. I'm going to go back to a straight stitch. And we're sewing along, or tomorrow I come back and I'm ready to sew my project. I know I've grouped those 3 stitches in my stitches. So all I have to do is come up to the stitch menu, come down to the U menu, and there are my stitches. Stitch 1 is that blanket stitch all the way over to the right. It's the longer setting that we saved. The butterfly is right at my fingertips, and that extra large flower is there. And I can go between all of them. You know what else might even be fun to have right here in a row is even just a straight stitch. I could use it by just touching here, but then I have to go back to the U menu and go retrieve my stitches. Why not take a straight stitch and actually add it to this menu? Maybe one that I'm always using. I like a 2.5 stitch length, so let's save it at the setting you like, and a straight stitch. And maybe we need a buttonhole too. So let's go ahead and pick from the buttonholes, and my first one there, and we'll save that one into my stitches. So those stitches are all the ones that I'll be using for the project. So once again, when I go to my U menu, they're all lined up for me, so I can be on a straight stitch. I can go to do some applique, go back to a straight stitch, add my butterflies, and then finish off with my buttonholes. Isn't that so much easier than jumping all over the machine or having sticky notes written of where those stitches are? They can be all at your fingertips at once. Now let's say this project is done and I really don't need these stitches to be filling up this area. Now my stitches has 4 menus here. So with 12 stitches per menu, we have a total of 48 spaces. So you could kind of group stitches together, have different ones on different pages, or have multiple projects in progress. We all do that, don't we? So but eventually you will want to probably erase some of those. So if you go to the heart, you're in the Save to My Stitches area. So if you want to delete these, let's delete them all. Oh, actually, let's delete one at a time. So touch the trash can. Let's delete the buttonhole. By touching it, it asks me if I am sure I want to do that. Touch OK. But now I really need to just delete all of them that are in there. So I can touch and hold the trash can. That's because the little symbol with the arrow pointing down to the right corner is there. It will then ask me another question. Delete all stitches in my stitches? Okay. And then they'll all be erased at once. So if you like to kind of keep that clean, that's a great way to remove them in one step. So utilize the My Stitches. Once again, if you're sewing out your decorative stitches, and you're sewing along and you're doing your stitches and you're doing the different ones, and you come to one and you look at your fabric and you're like, I love that one. Touch the heart and put it in to an area you can retrieve later.